Welcome back to another episode with Sweet Red Poppy. I'm Kimberly, and today we are going to be working with Cricut's Infusible Ink. I am so excited to share this product with you because it's brand new and it's so amazing. So Infusible Ink, these are transfer sheets that you can buy, and what's different about Infusible Ink from iron-on is that it's actually going to infuse into your fabric. Instead of laying on top of your fabric like you normally have with iron-on, this is actually going to adhere itself to the fibers of your shirt, which is really neat, and it's 100% permanent, which is so neat. You don't have to worry about flaking, peeling, any tears in your material because this is actually ink that you're going to be putting onto your material. For this project, you'll need some transfer sheets. You'll also need a Cricut Easy Press. You'll need a compatible base. This is a polyester shirt. You'll need butcher paper, a lint roller, and a Cricut machine. So let's go ahead and get started. To get started, you want to use a standard grip mat, just like this green one. So I'm going to place this in front of me and open up my Infusible Ink. And I want to place my transfer sheet pretty side facing upwards so that the liner is facing downwards. Inside of your package of Infusible Ink, you'll find a piece of butcher paper as well as your Infusible Ink transfer sheets. So I'm going to choose this watercolored one. And something to keep in mind is that once you've put heat on your Infusible Ink transfer sheets, it will be much more vibrant. So it starts out as kind of a muted color, but once you apply heat to it, it becomes really bright and bold. So I'm going to apply this to my mat, and I'm just using a standard grip mat for this project. And now I'm going to pull up Design Space. So I've just selected Mirror On. I'm going to press Continue and select the correct machine. And over here I'm going to select Custom on the dial for my Cricut machine. So now that I've selected Infusible Ink transfer sheet within Design Space, I'm going to insert my mat into my Cricut and begin cutting. Now that the machine is done cutting, I'm going to eject my mat and I'm going to remove the transfer sheet from my mat. I'm just going to flip my mat upside down and then peel the mat away from the Infusible Ink. And what this does is it prevents any damage from happening to your material. Both of my transfer sheets are cut out. I'm going to cut around the design. I'm just going to set this aside and use it on another project. I'm going to grab a pair of tweezers, and I just want to remove the pieces that I don't want on this design. It can be helpful to roll this back and forth until it lifts up off of the transfer sheet. And if you want to keep the excess intact, you can actually reuse that part of your transfer. Now I'm ready to get started on my shirt. So I want to preheat my Easy Press. I'm just going to bring this over here, make sure that it's preheating. I want to prepare my mat and my shirt. One of the things to keep in mind when preparing your shirt is that you want to make sure that there's no fibers that are left behind that shouldn't be on the shirt. So I have a little mini lint roller that's from Cricut, and I'm just going to go back and forth across my shirt where the transfer is going to be placed, and just remove any little fibers that might be there. And the reason why you do this is because some of the extra fibers that could be on your shirt that aren't supposed to be there could turn a different color when they're exposed to a high temperature of heat. So I just want to make sure that this is nice and clean and that there's not anything on this shirt that shouldn't be there. I'm going to stack my Infusible Ink on each other. That way I don't have to go back and do a second press, because it's best if you just do one press when you're working with this, otherwise the color can fade after repeated pressing. So I'm turning it over and just making sure that it looks good from the right side. And now I'm going to center my design on my t-shirt. I like to fold my design in half just to get a better idea of where the center is actually located at. So I'm going to press this in place. At this point, you could use some of the heat-resistant tape if you want to make sure that it stays in place. This is pretty sticky, so I'm just going to adhere it to the fabric. I'm going to slide a piece of butcher paper inside of my shirt, and what that does is it just keeps the infusible ink from bleeding through to the other side. I want to make sure that this design is only on the front of my shirt. I'm just going to slide that in. Now I'm going to cover this with a piece of butcher paper. My Cricut Easy Press is all the way warmed up. I'm just going to place it on top. It's set to 40 seconds. I'm going to press my Cricut button and apply firm heat. Now I'm going to slowly release, going straight up because I don't want to accidentally move my design. I'm going to remove my butcher paper, and then I'm going to let this cool just a little bit. Now I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to remove my transfer sheet. It will be a little bit hot. And look how beautiful this design is. And you can go ahead and remove your cardstock now. Here's our final result. For care of this shirt, make sure to wash it on cold and don't use any fabric softener. Thanks so much for tuning in to this video today. I loved getting to share Infusible ink with all of you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe below because I have tons of video tutorials coming out soon. Also, I want to know, what are you planning on making with Infusible ink? I can't wait to see what you guys make. Go ahead and comment below letting me know what your first project is going to be. And share this video so your friends can hear about it too. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week on Sweet Red Poppy.